Hello, my name is Justin Adams, and welcome to Jay's Days. If you tuned into my last video, then you saw my top 10 worst movies of 2015. Now, here are my best picks. These are the best movies of the year. This is my opinion. These are not going to be your typical big budget movies, which there are big budgeted movies there, so don't you worry. Wink, wink. That's my terrible wink, right? There are going to be some movies that you're probably not going to know, and if that pisses you off, I'm sorry, but that's my thing. At number 10 is a movie that I thought was not gonna suck, but it wasn't gonna be too good. It is Ant-Man. Went to the theater, and I was like, okay, it's getting good reviews, sure. I was not buying Paul Rudd as a superhero in the MCU. I couldn't really put my finger on it. And the fact that he was writing the script with Adam McKay, who did Anchorman and stuff, who is now officially... He's good because now The Big Short is amazing. I'm going to see that movie very soon and cannot wait to post my review on that one. Not only that, but one of my favorite directors, Edgar Wright, was behind it, and then he decided he was not going to do it anymore. And Peyton Reed, the guy that directed Bring It On, decided to helm it. So I was very, very nervous. I was like, it doesn't look like it's going to go a good route, but Paul Rudd is always likable, so I was not going to hate this movie. And thank God I did not hate it. I did not hate it actually at all. I thought it was really, really entertaining. It's the best movie in the MCU since Iron Man. I think Iron Man is the best one. That's like the one where we see Robert Downey Jr. as full-flesh Tony Stark. You know, he's not just doing it for the money. He's like just doing it because he wants his cred back, and he was really bringing his all. And then Iron Man 2, and then everything else is just whatever. Iron Man was the one, because it was not only Robert Downey Jr. trying to bring his cred back, but it was Marvel trying to be like, we are getting serious, guys. We are bringing you guys the Avengers, so take us seriously, please. At number 9 is The Gift. This movie is amazing. Joel Edgerton writes, directs, and stars in this, and Jason Bateman, he gives a amazing performance that is gonna get underlooked like always. Like, people are not gonna see it because they're fucking assholes. I really, really wanted him to get a nomination for at least a Golden Globe. I know if the Golden Globes are not even gonna see Bateman's performance, then the Oscars are just gonna fucking shrug it off too, which is really, really sad. But it's such a great movie. Jason Bateman surprised me. He surprised me like no other. Joel Edgerton did too, but I already knew he was a great actor, but I did not know he was a really great director and a writer, but I'll get to that in a few. But Jason Bateman's performance is what brings this movie for me. There's this part in the movie where he is trying to convince Rebecca Hall, his wife, that he is telling the truth. I'm not going to spoil anything, I'm just going to keep it at that. He's trying to convince her that he's telling the truth, and he delivers the most... I don't even know how to explain it. He's just the best like liar, trying to convince this person that he's telling it. He's defensive. His voice is getting high pitched. I was very nervous watching Jason Bateman's performance. I just think that people should have looked at it, but no one's looking at it. It's very, very sad. Edgerton writes and directs this perfectly. Not only is he really good in it, but the way that he captures the opening scene, how he's just walking by and how he just sees them, that just makes me clap for him, because I see that scene and I'm like, whoa, that felt so real. Everything in this movie, nothing was over the top. He could have gone way like, the stalker's gonna kill him, he's gonna have to run and stuff. There is some running, but I mean, like, it's I would run too. Like, it wasn't something like, I'm gonna kill your wife. It's serious stuff that would make you, no, why would you do that to me? At number 8 is the end of the tour. Who knew that Jason Segel would be the perfect David Foster Wallace? I did not think that David Foster Wallace would actually be portrayed on screen ever. I never thought that this would happen, and seeing that his family or his estate or something, some part of the Wallace tree did not like his performance at all. They were like, no, when this movie was in Sundance. So I was like, uh-oh, this movie's not going to be good. But then I watched it and I was like, whoa, this is the most intimate movie I've ever seen about writers. It's about two really, really good writers who are butting heads, trying to figure out one another, and it's the best character piece I've ever seen. I think if David Foster Wallace was alive, he would watch Jason Segel's performance and he would worship him, because Jason Segel does it perfectly. If you've ever seen an interview or read a David Foster Wallace book, then he nails him. And this is when he did what's the book called? Oh no, I forgot. Like something Jack, Infinite Jack, or something like that, where it's like a 1,000-page book. So this was like kind of at his peak, not really, but it's a great movie. It's like not only a great movie about writers, it's just a great performance piece by Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg, who is really good also, but he's just really playing up Jesse Eisenberg. Which brings me to another Golden Globe nominee that should have been, but wasn't, because fuck me. At number 7 is a Golden Globe performance that got nominated, thank the Lord, is Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs. This movie is awesome. I loved every moment of it. It was exhilarating. People complained that Aaron Sorkin kind of got in the way, like with this Aaron Sorkin dialogue, and that not only that, but it wasn't really a biopic on Steve Jobs. Like nothing of it like kind of rolled together. But I totally disagree. I think that like they wanted to capture Steve Jobs how he was, and I think it did it perfectly. It did not need to be a biopic. It did not need to be something that actually happened. It just needed to be something that was about the guy, and it was true to that guy. It didn't need to be a by the book, this is the day that this happened, blah blah blah. It does do things like that, but most of the things are kind of inaccurate. But if you're looking at it at that point, then yes, the movie is horrible, sure. But if you're looking at it through a performance and through like a film, this movie is a movie. This was a movie-going experience. Danny Boyle directs this movie to perfection, and Aaron Sorkin, I usually don't like his walking and talking in hallways. I think that's kind of boring, but this movie, it's awesome. His dialogue is very on point, and it's super solid. It's all over, and Jeff Daniels is great. He should have been nominated for a Golden Globe, or hopefully the Oscars will see it, but Jeff Daniels was really, really great. If they don't see it in this, then they have to see it in The Martian, because those were two Jeff Daniels performances that I was like, whoa, dude, you're knocking Dumb and Dumber 2 off your filmography. At number 6 is The Start, where you guys are going to be like, what movie is that? It's a documentary called Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead, the story of the National Lampoon. If you know what National Lampoon magazine is, then you would know that this started this created comedy now. If National Lampoon didn't happen, then people would still be walking around in top hats and doing silly physical humor, which I love Charlie Chaplin and stuff, but I feel like if National Lampoon didn't happen and they didn't bring, because these guys are the ones that brought Animal House. They brought Bill Murray. They brought John Belushi, Chevy Chase. These guys were pre-SNL, and this was before the straight-to-DVD movies took over National Lampoon. But this was when it was a magazine, and it was for smart, sophisticated people who were cynical, who saw America in the same way, in this kind of pitiful way, but it was funny. They saw death to be funny. They saw sex to be funny. They saw tricky subjects like rape and abortion. They saw that stuff, and it was actually funny. They had a cover issue where a baby is in a blender, and you're like, oh my god, but it's funny. It makes you laugh. And the story behind the National Lampoon, the magazine, the movies, everything is just super exhilarating. There's this guy, Doug Kenny, who is basically the guy behind it all. He did Caddyshack, Animal House. He is the guy that I want to see a biopic on him. This documentary is one of the best. It reminded me of the Roger Ebert one, Life Itself, which I love Life Itself, and it reminded me of American, the Bill Hicks story, which those are two documentaries I really love, and I think Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead fits perfectly in those categories. I think it's such a great insight of what comedy used to be and how it elevated the world, and it made what comedy is today, basically. At number 5 is The Overnight. If you have not heard about this movie, which you probably haven't, then once I talk about it, you're going to want to look it up right after, or maybe pause it and then look it up, or open it up on a different tab and continue listening while you're looking it up, because this movie is something that once you watch it, you can't unwatch it. It's with Adam Scott, Jason Schwartzman, Taylor Schilling, and those are Adam Scott's from Parks and Rec. He plays Amy Poehler's husband. I think I haven't really watched the show. Jason Schwartzman is Rushmore. He's Max Fisher. Can't really think of anything else that he's been in recently. And Taylor Schilling is Orange is the New Black. She's the main girl. So these three give amazing performances, especially Taylor Schilling. She knocks it out of the park. She is hilarious, and Jason Schwartzman is great. So is his prosthetic penis. No, I'm just gonna keep it at that because the movie is just shocking. It's a funny one. I think that you guys need to check it out like right now because it's something that you need to experience, and once you experience it, you like. I can see how some people wouldn't like it, but if you like things like that, like this, then you're gonna not just like it, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be like, how did they come about on this story? I want to know like the conversations that they had. It's just such an interesting little movie. And number 4 is another movie where you're probably gonna be like, what's that? It's The Voices, starring Ryan Reynolds. It's the best Ryan Reynolds performance that we will ever get. He is our generation's Norman Bates. This movie is crazy insane. It's about Ryan Reynolds. He talks to his dog and his cat. His dog is nice, his cat is evil, and he starts killing girls. He starts beheading them, and then he puts them in his fridge, and then they talk to him. It's a psychological, fucked up movie that gets in your brain. It has amazing visuals, like hardcore, awesome visuals, and the writing is so on point. It's one of those movies that I've waited for it to come out forever. It was on the blacklist for so many years, and I always saw parts of the script all over the place because everyone would always talk about it. And then finally it got made, but then it took forever for it to get distributed, and then once it got distributed, I watched it and I fell in love. It's a quirky, unique, original movie that everyone needs to see and witness because, again, just like The Overnight, once you watch it, you cannot unwatch it. At number 3 is Dope. This movie is, just like the title, it is dope. It's original, it's funny, and it's so intense. It's like one of the best movie-going experiences I've ever had. I saw this movie in the theater twice, and I now own it. It's somewhere around here. But it's such a great high school movie. It's literally John Hughes on Molly, or Lily, if you want to really get into the movie. But just like The Overnight, I'm going to keep it very vague because I want people to experience it themselves. It's such a crazy movie. At number 2 is Creed. I love Rocky, but Creed, it uppercuts Rocky because it's a movie that stands out on its own. Like, it's so good that it's not even a Rocky movie. It's just a really, really great movie. And I saw this movie in the theater, and it was such a great movie-going experience. It wasn't as good as my number 1. Sylvester Stallone got the Golden Globe. Now all you need is the Oscar, dude. Like the screenplay didn't get nominated, which I was like, but Oscars still. I'm hoping that they will give you guys love. They deserve it. Ryan Coogler and Aaron Covington, they wrote that script and they deserve the Oscar. They recreated a franchise. That's some good and hard shit to do. And now my number 1 pick. Star Wars. Those beautiful Star Wars. Star Wars The Force Awakens. And I know I just saw it, so it's kind of like, oh, you're really just gonna make that your number 1 already? Yeah, I am. I don't care what you guys say, because I don't remember the last time I've had fun at a movie, going to a movie. Like, when I was in the line, I was like, if this movie sucks, then this day sucks. But if the movie is great, then the line wouldn't happen. But standing in the line was awful. But going into, just sitting down the movie, I was shoulder to shoulder with people, man. And I wasn't annoyed by it. I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. And then once the movie started, once we saw the I said it in my review, but everyone was clapping, and I didn't mind. I was clapping with them, and the things that happen, man, I'm gonna wait until my spoiler review. I'm gonna wait probably another week or something, because I want people to see it. The movie was the only, like, one of the only movies that I didn't look at any review. I literally did not know what was going to happen in this movie, and it's very rare because I like, with the world of the internet, people spoil things all the time, and I follow a lot of movie things, so it was super hard to not look at reviews and to not see what was going to happen with this movie, as it was for probably a lot of people. But he's going to see Star Wars The Force Awakens. I think that, I can't say because I wasn't born at the time, but I feel like it was just as good as seeing it for people who have seen it for the first, like Star Wars for the first time, the very first one. I felt something that was going to be with me forever. I'm going to have this with me for the longest time, just like how my dad had the first Star Wars with him. And I waited in the line. I felt that what my dad had, instead of, and I'm glad, like, during the prequels I was a baby, so I couldn't do that, but I'm just glad that this happened to me. I'm glad that this movie happened to me. It was super satisfying, and people keep nitpicking at it, and I'm not going to be one of those guys, because of course there are problems with it, but I think that it's a great movie. I'm going to see it again, and I'm going to see it again, and then once it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to watch it again and again and again, and I'm going to love it, because it's a great movie, and it's just like the first Star Wars. Like, it's like just like Creed and Rocky. They're just movies that, even though they take things from the first one, that can piss a lot of people off, but they do it so well. They do it where it's its own movie now, and it's doing it so you literally, if you watch The Force Awakens, you really don't need to see, like, you do need to see, like, I would most likely prefer you to see the other movies, but just like with Creed, if you just saw Creed without seeing the Rocky movies, you wouldn't be confused. You would be like, oh, that was funny, and then you would see the Rocky movies and be like, oh, that was from that, okay, that's pretty cool. And the same thing with Star Wars. You were probably going to be like, wow, that's really cool, and see the other Star Wars movies and be like, oh, wow, I didn't know, that's pretty cool. And that's what Star Wars The Force Awakens is. It's a fucking cool movie, and I'm glad I experienced it. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. It deserves to be my number one. And if people want to complain about it and be like, wow, that's too soon, dude, you're not even thinking, you're just putting that up there because people are gonna say you're cool because of it. And sure, say whatever you guys want, but it's truly, it's my number one pick. I love the movie. It's my favorite movie of the year. It's my favorite movie of all time, not of all time, I shouldn't go that far. All these movies, I love them. If I could make all of them my number one and bundle them all up, then I would. You know what? This is my top 10. Never mind, they're my top ones. These are all my number one picks. So I love all of them. I think that they are all great movies, and people need to recognize them, especially The Voices, The Overnight, and Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead, because those are three movies that you guys probably don't even know are out, and you guys can get them on video on demand. They're available for you. So, yeah. Whew. Almost lost my voice there. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Do what you gotta do. If you guys want, you can comment below on what your guys' favorite movies are of the year, and do not spoil Star Wars for anybody. Don't be that asshole. If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter at I'mJustin_420. Alright guys, love ya.